Welcome back, good people, for a short episode here of the Sim Standard podcast with myself, SimFBallCritic, along with Smitty, and we'll wait a few moments for you guys to get up in here. But yeah, and I'll repeat this, man, as we go along. It's going to be a real short show tonight. You know, we had some family things we had to do, on both of our ends, so, it is what it is, but we wanted to give a quick video, a quick preview. You guys see the title. Madden NFL 20 has a lot to prove. And, of course, we're doing a kind of a precursor before EA Play. Nor myself or Smitty will be in attendance. So, it's big. This is going to be a big deal, big situation. And we'll just talk about that a little bit. And we may or may not go until 10 o'clock, but we have to do at least a hard stop at 10. You guys already know why. My schedule is crazy as far as commuting, so I have to stick to that to make sure I get ample amount of sleep or what have you. And frankly, Madden is not at a point where I'm willing to lose sleep over it. So there you have it. But anyway, guys, welcome. We appreciate you guys tuning in again for this short episode. We'll see how long it goes. It may be 45 minutes. It may be 30 minutes. But instead of me continuing all of the yapping, let's get to the action. Smitty, anything that you want to, say really quick before we dive into what we're going to cover really quick?
No, I don't have much to say. I'll say the one thing I will say, at least as far as the NBA is concerned, the finals are very entertaining. I think that even though, there's injuries going on, and that's going to play a factor, a big factor, as we saw last night. But I felt that this was going to be a 7-game series potentially, but Toronto, which they had an anomaly of a game yesterday, shooting over 90% from the free throw line as a team, shooting in the 40% range as a team for three, shooting over 50+% from the field as a team. You had 5-6 guys score at least between 15-17 points. That's not typical. Okay, that is not a typical performance as a team. That was phenomenal what they did last night, even with Steph dropping 47. So that's a lot. But if Clay is able to go, and I don't know, KD they're saying is more than likely not going to play. So if Clay is able to go, that's a whole nother dimension right there. That if you had him drop at least 20 yesterday, if he was in that game, we may not be talking about a Raptors win. So who knows? But all I'm saying is that it's been a very entertaining playoffs, and the finals are not disappointing at all. So I'm enjoying it all, man. But that's all I got to say at this point, man. Other than that, we'll see what's cracking with EA Play in 2 days. So.
Yeah, I will comment on that as far as the playoffs. Playoffs didn't disappoint, and I'll be very brief. Guys, you guys know how I feel about seeing the same teams win over and over and over, regardless of the sport. I mean, it's cute in the beginning, but I like parity. I like competition. I like to see, the next man up type of thing. I'm rooting for the Raptors. Again, nothing against the Warriors. I'm not a Warriors hater. For anybody who's going to hear this, I like Steph Curry. I really like Klay Thompson. I like Kevin Durant. Y'all know I didn't like him, how he got to Golden State, but I still like Kevin Durant. I like Draymond Green. I like Iguodala. He once played for my team. We drafted him. I have no beef with the Warriors. It's just that, come on, man. I get the dynasty and all of that, but I would love to see this story of a team who's never gotten to the finals, win the finals, and winning it with a guy like Kawhi Leonard who leaves the Spurs, comes over here, probably there for probably just for these next couple games, and, he goes to another team and gets a chip. I would love to see that story. I would just love to see that play out. Whether it does or not, I don't know, but I'm enjoying it, and in case you're wondering, I would rather see the Raptors win instead of the Warriors. Just my 2 cents. But let's dive into this information, man. What we're going to talk about here tonight. And again, I'll repeat this a few times because I know some of you guys are going to come in later. This is going to be an extremely short show. We got off to a late start tonight, but hey, it's really just a quick preview. Really, next week's show is probably going to be bigger because we'll have information to discuss at that point. People will have seen the game in terms of Madden. Smitty and I have not seen Madden 20 not once this year. We have not gone down to EA. We are not going to EA Play. So we're pretty much in you guys' boat. So this is going to be a very interesting reveal, if you will, and next week's show should be pretty solid. But Smitty, man, I mean, it says it all right there in the title. I guess I'll kick it off, man, and then throw it to you. I wanted to kind of borrow from the reason why I'm titling it, They Have a Lot to Prove. As you guys are probably hearing me typing here, I'm unprepared. I kind of borrowed it from this article I saw on Operational Sports. I won't go into detail with it, but they basically said the 3 titles that have the most to prove in 2019. Those titles are NHL, PES, and Madden, and all of them had their different reasoning. The PES conversation is a bit interesting because I think that due to sales, PES might be on their way out, as it mentions here in the article, because they're just not going to be able to compete for as long monetarily, especially with FIFA having more of the licenses and things. NHL, again, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, just be brief here. I've actually heard from NHL fans, and if you look at their forums, even Smitty kind of turned me on to that. If you look at some of their forums, it's a lot of people over there that's not extremely happy with that game either. Even though there's things that we see that we would love to have in Madden. I would love that scouting system they had. But I've had NHL people tell me, like, nah, man, certain things have been messed up for years. They should have fixed this before they did that, etc., etc. And then it comes down to Madden, okay? And I will read you a real quick blurb of this article, and this is kind of where it's going to kick off what me and Smitty is going to talk about. It says, basically, what does it have to prove? Madden is probably a perennial name on this list because the expectations for the series are sky high. Now, perennial name, guys, that's almost embarrassing right there. You know what I mean? Every year we're asking this same question. That's part of the problem right there. Okay, the next thing. The NFL is the nation's most popular sport, and Madden is the only title carrying the banner on the video game consoles. That's enough to put Madden on the list for most years. I'll read the last part of it. It says, Madden NFL 20's early returns are looking good. The series looks to finally be focusing on core franchise experiences and redefining aspects of them. There are the usual set of gameplay tweaks that will likely be mixed bag. Overall, Madden is in good shape, but the series needs to prove it needs to prove that it can offer something new to long-time fans. And that's kind of, kicks off, basically it birthed the title of this particular stream, and I couldn't agree more, Smitty. Why I think that Madden 20 has a lot to prove. Number one, you guys know what I already said earlier on in the year about Madden 20 needs to be the game that convinces me that they're going in a better direction. I can honestly say from what we know about it, everything we've heard since information has been released, I feel a bit more enthusiastic as far as saying, okay, they're listening a little bit. Again, me and Smitty come from a side of things where we know they can't do but so much in 1 year. But it is good to see that they're putting some focus in franchise, core franchise, not just the face of the franchise, but we're talking about the core things. And, Smitty and I and Azure have talked about abilities and things like that being in Madden in terms of franchise for years. So it is finally, it's good to finally see, okay, so you're using those resources from Mutt and interchanging them with the entire game. Great. What we don't know, though, is the stuff that you hear Smitty and I talk about each and every week, each and every month. You've heard us talk about it each and every year, probably since, I'm going to be fair, Smitty, and I'm going to say, let's go back to Madden 16. Because we all know before that, I mean, we were just trying to get the game to at least semi-turn the corner.
Right.
Since Madden 16, I think we all, well, some of y'all won't, but I know Smitty and I will agree, okay, that's the first time we start seeing a glimpse of what could be if they keep building on that progression. And it hasn't gone fast enough, primarily because the under the hood stuff is just not addressed. To borrow Smitty's term, Smitty always says they need to invest in the product, and we're not. And I know this is what Smitty means, but in case you guys don't know what he's referring to, we're not just saying build on brand new things. Well, that's not the right terminology. We're not saying implement new things all the time. What we're referring to is they need to build upon the groundwork that's already there. If you flush out your interaction system, because it definitely needs a revamp. If you flush out the trenches and make that more of a real battle down in there, weight and momentum and leverage, all of the things y'all hear us say all the time. If you really flush out the DB and wideout interactions, if you really flush out player movement with the RPM, which they're advertising there's a RPM 2.0 this year, and if you just get overall interactions and physics to dictate more of the outcome and allow relative positioning to matter, we're talking about a whole new ball game. And these are the things that they have not focused on primarily, at least since Madden 16. We haven't seen any change. And I'm sure we can go back further than that, but just to keep it more relative, in the last 4 iterations of this game, it's the same stuff. Some of the same bugs are popping up. Yeah. Some of the same animation warps. What's up, Eric Rayweather? Eric in the building. Appreciate you coming through. And you know what? Eric would agree with a lot of what we're going to say here, too. And Eric, since you came in late, it's going to be a real short show, man. We'll be done by 10 o'clock, maybe sooner. But we're really just talking about why this game just needs to prove itself. Eric talks about it a lot, with the gameplay problems in his videos. You've heard him say that.
That guy, Mole.
Official Mole is in the building. Now, for you guys that don't know, Mole is, he's a representative there at EA. Great guy, man. I met Mole the first time as a game changer. He went on from being a game changer to being on the dev team. Very proud of where Mole has come. I know his passion. And again, the reason why we're just...
Whoa, wait a second. What? Beta?
When is the beta? Somebody's probably just asking that. Oh, somebody says next week. Okay. Well, let's do this. Mole is here. If Mole is able to comment on that, feel free. If you can't, Mole, we understand. So no pressure there. But basically, what we're discussing, guys, before EA Play is... This, to me, it needs to be the year where refinements show and prove more than anything else. Refinements. And again, let me explain that, and then I'll throw it to Smitty. It needs to be... I need to see better player interaction. They talk about in the blog that you're going to see smoother sequences in and out of blocks and things like that. I need to see that across the board. I don't want to see any more of the warping and the shifting. And I know, guys, no video game has mastered this, but I just don't want to see it so blatant. Because here's the ironic thing. I posted a video, I think yesterday, of an online game I had. There are moments in the game where it plays really clean. Y'all wouldn't believe me, but trust me, if you play Madden enough, you know what I'm talking about. There are moments where I don't see any shifting or warping with a two-man interaction. None at all. There's a play in that video where there's a deep ball thrown, and my guy's in man coverage, and both him and the receiver are trying to get to the ball. There is absolutely no warp, no shift. I mean, and it was Artie Burns. Can you believe that? But I have Artie Burns man coverage on like a 94 in the league that we're in. And I mean, he's with him step for step, use the arm bar. And I'm like, see, why don't we see this play out all the time? And then you get those scenarios where you throw a drag or you throw a post route. Somebody clicks on to him and they get that speed burst and they shoot past you and catch the ball. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, again, I'm not going to be long-winded because we don't have a lot of time tonight, but this is what I'm saying. This needs to be the year where everything that's being promoted, we actually see on field. They're promoting animation quality. Like Eric Rayweather just said, the 2.0 thing for RPM that RG said late in that stream. That's huge for me. Y'all know how big I am on player movement. I need this stuff to matter. I want to see physics be more part of the equation. Clint mentioned weight and momentum is more of a factor. So that's all I'm saying, man. I want to know. They need to prove to me that the game can play as smoothly as a FIFA. If Madden is running like that, I'm good. Now, FIFA's not perfect. Before anybody tries to shoot it down, I'm not saying it's perfect, but go play FIFA right now. And just pay attention to how the players react to each other, how the AI is, how the ball physics plays out, how the tackles play out, the steals, the jockeying for position. I need to see that in Madden. And if you're promoting animation quality and this, that, and the third, that's what I'm expecting to see. Especially, here's the last point, especially now that it sounds like there's some player individuality and likeness and special traits and special animations. All of this stuff hinges, it hinges on interactions. Because what I don't want these abilities to be heavily influenced by dice rolls.
Right.
Now, Mo probably heard me say that, and he knows the ins and outs. So, to me to say that to Mo, I'm sure Mo is probably saying, now, Sam, every game has dice roll. And I do know that. And that's not what I'm saying. Because every game you play, believe it or not, folks, there's a dice roll. The only difference between the great games and the games that are not quite there is how it plays out and how the things around that dice roll takes over. Comma, I was going to say comma, but I'll just say i.e. physics augmenting the outcome. So the dice roll might kick in, but then based on where the players are positioned and how the ball tips and how the arm hits the other arm and all of that can change that dice roll. Because the parameters around the players can augment the dice roll based off of physics, player interaction, etc., etc. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying that you completely remove a dice roll, because we all know even in Backbreaker there were like dice roll behaviors there, but it played out on the fly because the physics of things allowed, whatever position you were in, wherever your leverage was in, blah, 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 that dictated the outcome. It wasn't just basically what I'm saying is I don't want to see too many moments. I would hope not to see any moments in Madden where I can put the controller down and I know how it's going to finish. I don't want that. There's other games that we all play that don't do that no more. So it's time for Madden to be on that level. And if you're advertising that the animation quality and all of this is refined, then this is what I'm expecting. So just my quick 2 cents, man. I could go much longer than that, but we're on a time crunch tonight. But what do you think, Smitty, man? Outside of the obvious, why does Madden 12, Madden 20 have so much to prove, not only at EA Play, but just in general when this game launches?
Well, it's got a lot to prove because the thing is, it's basically on a higher level than devs. It's what is this game going to be in September and October? Because we all know once people complain, because look, people that played the Madden 19 beta are the ones that mainly got to experience what RPM was truly like. RPM 1.0. RPM was basically gone. It was nerfed through all the patches. Basically, that first series of patches nerfed it completely out the game. So to be like, oh, this is RPM 2.0. Well, heck, we barely got to experience 1.0. So you have a lot to prove in that area. And I mean, a good part of the RPM problem was people couldn't handle it. It's just like when they introduced True Step in Madden 25 back then. People couldn't handle that either. And they complained about it, and look what happened. Madden 15, that player movement, the player locomotion was a shell of itself in comparison to 25. 25, it was beautiful. They just needed to build on top of that. But it was nerfed out. You know, they gutted it out pretty much. And it was the same deal that happened. It just happened via patch in Madden 19. So what's really going to become of everything that we see on Saturday? That's the thing. Because I know they got Mole, Mole got a challenge that he's got going on or whatever that he's going to be doing at EA Play. Him doing his thing. People that go to the event and play it. What kind of game? I mean, I know the game is not completely finished, but I'm just saying, what kind of game is it that we're going to be playing?
You know what?
What up?
I'm glad you said that, Smitty, because this is another reason why, just to throw you this alley-oop, why I think it has a lot to prove even at EA Play. They're talking about people being able to have their hands on this game as early as July 31st. Now, from what you and I know, this game is pretty close to being done.
Oh, yeah.
Unless there's a very, very good possibility there's an EA Play build that was already out there and ready to go. But we also know sometimes the build is closer than people think to the final product. So that's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And like what's being said in the comment, look, the deep dive was a shallow dip in the pool. Okay, the gameplay, they didn't show us nothing. Seeing those plays didn't mean anything. It didn't add any value. That didn't mean absolutely nothing. To a degree, at least in my opinion, I felt that A-Dub and RG and all those guys' time was wasted because there was nothing shown. What should have happened, we already talked about that before. I'm not going to go down that road, but just basically saying it straight, they should have shown gameplay footage to cover the narratives that they were giving. As they were talking, you see the jet sweep run in motion. You see, you know what I mean? You see the plays that A-Dub's talking about. You see them run in motion completely. Not three players on the field, what happens before the snap, but how the game is actually playing out. You get to see the pass trajectories and actually see them in motion from what Clint spoke of, and you see what RG talked about when it came to hitting the hole when running and stuff like that. Like, you need to see it. So we don't have anything that we can see, and the other thing that's going to suck as well is that Madden is only getting 30 minutes of airtime on their stream Saturday. So my big thing is, okay, so what's going to be shown after that? Like, what streams do you have lined up? Is there going to be, what about a dedicated franchise mode stream? Will we go into that stuff? What about a dedicated straight up gameplay stream? What's like, you know what I'm saying? What is going on? You know what I mean? So there's a lot more they need to unveil, and there's a lot more we need to see from a raw gameplay standpoint. And the key thing, we need to see it from people who know how to play, not because you already know there's going to be some guys that are going to take their cell phones out and capture some cats that have no clue how to play, and they're going to legitimately analyze that and try and pass it off as legit gameplay and say, oh my gosh, Madden's destroyed, it's busted. Oh, look at how this play looks. Like that, I don't give a care about any of that. I'll look at it, I'll take that, not even with a grain of salt. It's just, okay, it's another clip out there. I want to see from people that truly know how to play this game, basically people that work on this game. I want to see EA present this game. Since they gave us the crumbs that was supposed to be a deep dive, then I expect to see them give us these streams where they're giving us the fruitful load of everything, we need to see with gameplay and all those aspects. And the big thing, like you said about proving the game, that what they need to prove that they can actually update this game without breaking it and destroying it. Because the thing is, there are games out here that, yes, people complain about them and they have their issues and problems accordingly, even when they update it, but the game's not destroyed. It's not pretty much a shell of itself. NBA 2K19, patches messed the game up, no question. But that game is nowhere near being destroyed at the core because of because of the updating that they've done, whether it was title update or their patch. So that's the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? Like me and Sim always say, I trust the dev team, but they need to be able to prove that, man, look, we can make this game click. We can make this game work, and we can give y'all a game that's going to last throughout the year, not because we're the only football title, new game that's on the market, but we actually are making a legitimate title that people are going to be able to consume and thoroughly enjoy. That's the key thing that's got to do. Seriously. But like what my man Smooth just said, appreciate the $5 donation, family. Appreciate you, bro. But that's the key. The truth will show when the patches start dropping, and that's just it. If the patches come out and all of a sudden RPM is a shell of itself and I see people whining on Twitter, it's just like what people did with NBA 2K19, complained about shot contesting. That was legit. It's a legitimate mechanic of basketball, and people complain to Mike Wang about it. So what do you think people do when you actually legitimize running in the game? It happened with Madden 25, and it happened it happened with Madden 19. RPM was just fine the way it was at launch. There was nothing wrong with it, other than the glitchy stuff we saw. That you fix. You don't nerf the mechanic because people are just complaining. You introduce something new that is changing and refining a key aspect of how the game functions. Of course people are going to complain. They don't know how to play with it yet. So of course they're going to complain. They have to learn, adapt, and they have to adjust. You know what I mean? It's not all just, we got to make sure that we please the people. No, the people have to learn as well. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't care if it's a Zan to somebody that ain't known from Diddly D. You have to adjust. If you're complaining, you have to adjust as an end user, not EA keep flipping stuff around and just, we got to make sure we try to please all crowds. No, make the game of football the way it needs to be made. That's it. Regardless of what crowd, comp, sim, casual, whatever, it doesn't matter. What's happening in the NFL, you guys capture it and do your best to replicate it. That's it, dude. That's literally all it has to be at this point, period. So, and you do that, all crowds will, people will complain, but in general, you will have a lot more people satisfied than disappointed. So that's what they got to prove, man. They got to prove they can build this game and keep the integrity of football at the forefront. Not talking about it, but it actually living through the product. Let the product walk the talk for you. And these features and aspects, whatever blog, article, what you say in the stream, or anything like that or whatever, it has to live out in game. Okay? And it needs to stay there all year. We don't want to be talking about how it's supposed to be now, and then come September, October, it's not even existing anymore because people complained or whatever, and now the game is a complete shell of itself, and now we're talking about RPM 2.0 gone straight out the window because of how folk feel. So that can't be the case. Zone play ain't the way it needs to be because folk feel. They talked about the pass rush being extremely tough. I already know people gonna be whining about that.
They better not backtrack.
I'm telling you, they better not back down for people. Oh, but I'm not able to. And I don't want to hear nothing from no comp player. Oh, but I can't do my adjustments the way I want to do them because the rest of it. No. Adapt, adjust, or get out. Bye. See ya. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many titles you won, how many chips you got, or how much money you make, or how much you rely on Madden to pay your bills. If you are not going to adjust, bye. This game is not for you. We can't keep doing that. That can't. This catering nonsense cannot keep going on. Seriously, that's why 2K is winning the way they're winning. Yes, they try to please everybody, but at the same time, that game still has you have to have a basketball pedigree of some legitimate degree to be able to hang with the absolute best in that game. You just can't run up and start playing it. Madden, you could do that. Because like what Sim said and like what we've all said, dice rolls, two-man animations, position not being respected, all kinds of cheesy stuff that anyone can pretty much do is happening in this game. And it's happening from the kids sitting in the house playing in the game, whatever, to the biggest grand freaking stage showing on ESPN.
Embarrassing.
So that's embarrassing, dude. So it's like when we see that, I'm like, that pro player, he's a pro player by what? Because he played the game X amount of times against certain people, but that's not truly pro. You're not really elite. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who can out-cheese whom? That's not football. That's basically you have a group of hackers playing this game against each other, and whoever can out-hack whom the best is the champ. That's not it. It's got to be legit football, man. And I want Madden to actually do that. 2K, heck, they had the cheesy stuff go on, and they did their best to fix that. And that was their first year. But Madden, this has been going on forever. So it's time to change that culture around and make this game truly pop. And that's what I'm saying. I really am hoping for that. I know we're not going to get everything out of EA Play because they're only going to show the game 30 minutes. But I hope that we do get a decent amount to really sink our teeth into to some degree, whether it's the blogs and the combination of visuals, and then we get more after EA Play because they're going to have to do a lot more than that. It's not going to be nearly enough, even though, the rumors of a beta, that's cool and all, but if that's true, I would greatly appreciate that. But we all would. But outside of that, though, I just want to see this game straight up legitimately run so that way we can really see how this game is going to be, at least to some degree, until we can honestly get our hands on it and truly feel this game out for ourselves. So,
yeah, man, just a couple things I want to comment on, man. That's in the comment section, and again, shout outs to Brooklyn Bully and who else put a comment in there. I think it was Optimus Good Gob. We're extremely late, guys. We had some things go on tonight, family things, and we didn't really know if we were going to do the show, but we decided to go ahead and do a quick one. We're going to be out of here probably really, really soon, no later than 10 o'clock. And we're just doing a quick prequel, man, before EA Play, and just sharing our thoughts and why we think this game has to show improve this time around because of the way they're advertising it. This is we kind of heard it last year, but now they're doing it again. They keep emphasizing this animation quality. So now I got to hold you to the fire. Because animation quality to me doesn't mean just the animation. It also means the way the players interact. Again, read the blogs. You see a lot of little sprinkles in there saying, the way interactions are going to happen with blocking and all of that. Okay, we're going to see. And that's why we're holding them to the fire. One thing I wanted to comment on, shout outs to David Halliburton. He said just steal everything from 2K5 and 2K8. Y'all have heard me say this before. Some people don't agree with me, but that narrative, I've deaded that a long time ago. And you're talking about a guy who probably, maybe to date, I don't know for sure, but at one point, there was nobody putting out more APF videos than I was. But at the same time, that's not what we want. I don't want a copy. I want your representation of football. Because let me tell you something, 2K8 and 2K5 had massive problems. The thing that they did well, though, was replication. You see what I mean? Like quarterback movement and various things that 2K8 did great, but it wasn't perfect. They had some sliding and shifting problems, too. And contrary to some people's, opinion, people always praise how well that game moved. It didn't have the best player movement. Well, let's be honest. That game had a lot of turnstile running, but again, they replicated the player very well with their abilities, with the animations, and just how the game felt as a whole. But don't get it twisted for one moment and think that game was the end-all be-all. It set a solid precedence, just like NBA 2K is right now. Not perfect, But that game is solid. You know, you feel like you playing basketball from time to time when you fire that up. What some people would disagree with that. You know, some people say 2K is trash. So it's all relative opinions, and that's why I said I've kind of deaded that narrative a long time ago. Oh, just borrow from 2K. No, don't do that. Build your representation of football and keep it core football. Because this is just my opinion. I think Smitty shares this opinion. If Madden, the way Madden is today, how we believe it is right now at Madden 19, not even 20, because none of us have seen it. Just imagine if all of the stuff that we're talking about here tonight was legit.
Yep.
That would be the best football game you've ever played. Because we've never had the DB and wideout interactions the way we have them in Madden. Even though they're canned, we've never had that in a football game to that degree. There's several things that Madden has added on field that we never even saw in the 2K products. But again, those are old products. I'm sure by now 2K would be top of the line, and we probably would have both Madden and 2K football that we're both looking at like, whoa, I don't know which one to play more. So it's not always fair to compare it to 2K because, again, like I said, over the years, Madden has added more stuff that 2K never got to. But if Madden could fix all of the stuff we discussed tonight, we're not even having this conversation. And that's why, to me, they got to prove it because they right there. Y'all don't understand, man. We've seen this thing behind the scenes. They are right there. They are right there. It ain't going to take long if they just lock in and fix these core things. How many times have we heard in these last couple streams, you know, we're fixing things on the fly and it's all about fixing the legacy stuff. Okay, let's see. Maybe they get it right. But it's just the whole keep selling us short. I'm sick of it, man. You know, I'm tired of it, man. And I'm tired of the catering. Don't even cater to me. Don't even cater to me, right. the sim guy. Okay. Because what I might want to see in the game, some other people might not want. But as long as you're representing football, I have to accept it. So I'm just hoping, man, that all the stuff that they're talking is good. I need to see it translate on the field. That's it. What else did I want to say here? Was one other thing. Eric says, people love to overlook the problems of those games and even old Maddens for that matter. Yeah, man. To be honest, Ray Weather, man, I think it's a lot of nostalgia. Because, again, true story. I tell this all the time. When Madden 05 and 2K5 was out, I always was looking for that next game that could be on Madden's level. Year after year. You know, when 2K first came in, I was like, woo, look at them graphics. First game, I remember kind of seeing when it's cold outside and they breathe the air. But, NFL 2K, the first one, just won't quite it. By the time they got to 2K4, I was like, whoa, okay, I'll give you another year or so, you might be there. Then when they slapped with 2K5, they had me. But you know what they sold me on? Presentation. Depth. Halftime show. All that kind of stuff. But I ended up going back to Madden 05 because I think on the field, I think Madden 05 played better. Player movement, in my opinion, was much better in Madden 05. And that just goes to show you right there that when we always talk about 2K5, I think people forget even that day. Yo, wait a minute now. Madden 05 was right there. But 2K5, in my opinion, blew it away in presentation. And they blew it away with the level of detail of because some of you guys might not even remember, but they literally mimicked NFL, ESPN NFL Sunday. Like, mimicked it to a T. From seeing guys on the sideline on the bike to Susie Cole, like even the way it came on, the same music, everything. And that was what sold me on that game. More so than just the on-field gameplay. And that's a fact. Because for real Madden heads would probably agree, Madden 05 was legit for its time, the way that game played on the field. So, that's about it, man. I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to say. It's just like I said, we wanted to put this out there, because I know a lot of you guys expect this from us. Again, Smitty and I have not seen this game, so we're actually all going to be in the same boat next week. We're going to be hearing the opinions of others, which I think makes it a unique situation this year for us, Smitty, because, we're not sitting back and seeing how other people are going to respond. We actually are going to be on the other side of the fence, and we have to take other people's word for it, and then when the game drops, then we give our own opinion. You see what I'm saying? So I actually enjoy that this year. We've been there, done that, so I'm not tripping that I wasn't involved, heavily in terms of being in person this year, because, I've done that several years. It's kind of cool to be back on this side of it, at least for a new title that I'm just as, wide-eyed as everybody else. Like, I'm looking to see, all right, what's up with this game? Because like Smitty said, the stream, and this ain't a knock on, Clint or A-Dub. Y'all know how much we love those guys. A-Dub is my right-hand man. But they, I could clearly see marketing written all over those streams, man. They didn't give us nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I just need to see this game in action. The reaction from EA Play. The reaction from when we all have a chance to see it for ourselves, whether it's beta, red box, or for those who are going to buy. And then after the patches start hitting. That I just need to see how this is going to play out, because another reason, I'll end it with this, man. This is all I got left for tonight, since we, approaching 10 o'clock. It has so much to prove for the mere fact that everything that they are adding to the game in terms of these abilities, it rides solely on how this game performs as far as animation, interaction, positioning. All of this stuff has to matter. I'll give you one example. You're playing against Patrick Mahomes, and maybe you're playing against the CPU. He gets in the zone and he pulls off the no-look pass. It's cool. He's the only one that can do it. But just imagine when he does that, the wide receiver is warped 5 yards over to catch the ball. Is that not going to kill the whole immersion factor of that feature?
Yep.
And that's my sole point right there. That's why the way these players move and animate, since there's going to be unique animations and player likeness, the way they move and foot plant and all of that, and with RPOs coming into play, how the defense is reacting. Because remember, I said a lot of you guys don't, y'all say y'all pay attention, but y'all don't pay attention to everything. There's so much, so much information that it's funny that A-Dub even told us last year when he was doing play breakdowns on his page, the EA Playmaker, when he gave you a little nugget in that, and I think people missed it. When he talked about cover 4 palms, and he talked about how, this is the type of coverage that, is good when you are facing RPOs. This was last year. He was kind of giving you a glimpse as to what might be coming. But the reason why I mentioned that is because, once again, these interactions are going to have to matter when you have to defend RPOs, and the AI's got to be up to snuff. You see what I'm saying? Your defense is going to have to be able to react. These are the things that I'm looking for. Once again, before we end it, we know every single aspect of the game, whether it's gameplay, presentation, or franchise, is not going to be in Madden 20. I never expect that. I just want to see progression year after year after year. But, I do expect this game on again, y'all have heard me repeat this a million times. Let's do it one last time. On an interaction, animation, AI, physical mass, relative positioning, physics, on that level, I expect this game to be up to snuff, because those things are in the game currently. They have to be. Because it could get super ugly with RPOs if the AI and, chuck, animation, like when they chuck receivers and, and the press and all this kind of stuff. If that stuff ain't playing out right, wow. This game is going to be ridiculously crazy if they don't have that stuff together. So, got a lot to prove, man. That's all I'm going to say. They have a lot to prove.
Yep.
So go ahead, close us out, Smitty. And again, guys, this was a short one tonight, man. You can definitely expect. Hey, I can't even talk right. You can definitely expect next week a full show, because there would be a whole lot of reaction, and and if something is extremely crazy, maybe me and Smitty can get together, on a Monday or Sunday night or something, just to recap. But other than that, we will be back next week, full 2-hour show. Or however long it takes us, not more than 2 hours, but for however long it takes us to cover the situation at hand, we'll be looking out for a show next week. I can at least say that.
Yeah. So I'll just say, hey, what's up, Jump Man? What's going on? But I'll just say this. I'll just say this, man. I mean, like what Sim said, they have a million things they're gonna have to prove. And I know we've looked at every single thing, with a fine tooth comb, and you said that we don't know about the abilities, we don't know this, we don't know that. We really don't have a whole lot to be confident in regards to Madden when it comes to adding new stuff, because whenever it comes to adding something new, it always gets messed up, or it doesn't come together appropriately. So that's why everything is like, okay, this is nice in theory, but how's it all gonna look? Okay, It's nice that Clint and them talked about it, but how's it really gonna play out? So they have to prove it, and that's what I'm saying. A 30-minute stream's not gonna do it. A beta, what would be truly awesome is during that stream if they announce, hey guys, we have this beta. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be the key. That would help a lot, because number one, people can give feedback. An open beta, not no select codes. Open beta, but they have an open beta. Let people get in on it, feel the game out, play the game for themselves, all that good stuff.
You know what's interesting about that, Smitty?
What?
We've seen stuff like this happen before, so this could be breaking news, guys, but don't hold us to it. What if that tweet was sent out a little too early?
Oh.
And that's why it got deleted. Because somebody said that the tweet, we didn't see it, but we're relying on you guys. Somebody said that the tweet was by an EA employee, and it's now been deleted. So let's just suppose that, oh man, I thought I was supposed to send it out now. So what Smitty just said, maybe that happens. Maybe they announced that. There you go.
Yeah.
So that would be great, but who knows?
Yep. So yeah, they did. They sure enough did take that. They sure did. But so yeah. But doing that would be the key. That would be the key. Do a beta. Let people be able to jump on it. Give feedback, things like that. Really be able to see what you guys are talking about. If that can happen, awesome. If it doesn't happen, that would blow. Especially considering, like we all know, this game comes out at the end of July. So this game's going into certification in June. If it already isn't, the game you're playing at EA Play, there's not going to be much they're truly going to be able to do unless there's something they're really holding out.
The game done, man.
The game's done, dude. Like,
that's what they don't know. The only thing they could be doing now, which is possible, it might still, and just to give y'all a peek behind the curtain, it might still be enough time to get feedback and to enter into day one patch.
Right. But
the game itself, if it's going to be available for people to play on the 31st of July, that game is done.
Yeah.
It's right now it's just fine tuning.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So what people are gonna play at EA Play is gonna be a pretty clean representation. It should be, I'm assuming. But like what Sim said earlier, it's very possible they could have done this build. That build could be a month or two old. So I'm not gonna say that. Oh, this is what they did last week. Like we don't know what the age is of it, but I'm just saying like, that beta should be a very decent representation of the game. But yeah, like what Rayweather said, it wouldn't shock me if the game is an old, dated, build of the game that may be a month or so old, something like that. So that's what they typically do. But we'll see. We'll see. So our eyes will be locked in, and we'll see when they stream that. Whenever they stream Madden, I don't know because they're on Pacific time. I didn't see when Madden is going to be streamed. The time
11:30.
Exactly. Oh, 11:30. Okay,
Yeah.
so what? 2:30.
Yep.
So 2:30 Eastern time they'll be streaming it. So so I'll see it. We'll see it and see what happens.
Yep. So, there you have it.
Yep.
But all right, guys, gotta get out of here, man. Your boy has to stop being stubborn on Friday nights, and I have to end quick and get into bed so I can start my extremely long Friday. But this was great. We apologize for the late start, but like I said, we wasn't 100% sure we would be able to make the show. I know Smitty had a personal run he had to do, and guys, y'all know family first. I mean, this is not our job. Maybe if we were doing this full time and supporting our families off of this, then maybe we could make different arrangements. But at this point, it's when we can. So, gotta excuse us for that. But we'll be back next week, man. Let me get out of here. For myself and Smitty, we thank you guys for tuning in. And hey, let's keep our eyes open for Saturday and see what's up. So there you have it. But all right, man, everybody have a good weekend. Enjoy the finals tomorrow. Go Raptors! And we'll catch you guys next week, man. Be safe. God bless. And we'll talk back to you guys soon. Peace.
Peace.